Hello, hello. If you are seeing this, you invested into these gorgeous Be Amazing concealers. And if you're going to be watching this, you're going to see me do a look that has to do with brightening, covering dark circles, contouring, and also your foundation shade that you have been matched for. Maybe you don't have one of those concealers. Definitely take a look and watch it. Maybe you're using your regular foundation with it. The flip book that you got with it too is going to take you step by step. It's going to show you the importance. Now, I did put on my skincare before I applied any of this. This is going to be super important. So make sure you're using your skincare, your primer, and your setting. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and start with some Sotox. Sotox is my favorite product to put on. It lightens, brightens, and tightens, especially when I'm getting ready to just throw on some daily concealer just to kind of cover it up. So make sure you are using your Sotox. And definitely do not forget your primer. This is the first step. This is what's going to keep that on the top layer of the skin. You don't want to miss this step. Okay guys, so we're going to start out with 4 different concealers today, and we're going to use one for lightening underneath the eyes, one for covering dark circles, purpleness, all that fun stuff, and then we're going to use one for an all over foundation color, then we're going to use one for a contour color. Okay, so I'm going to be using number 6 for underneath my eyes. As you can see, it has that doe's foot on it. You do not need a lot. You don't need a lot of concealer. You just need to pat a little bit on there. And I suggest a concealer brush to go ahead and pat that in. Now, the one that I'm using is like just some random Morphe brush. It's nothing super exciting. I couldn't find my Lime Life one, but as you see here, I'm just lightly patting. The less you put on, the better it's going to be. And we're just putting that on any purple areas that we may have. You can do the whole lid if you want to. Now we're going to move on to contour. This is my favorite part. I like to contour before I lighten. I'm using number 13, so you might have got number 13 or maybe a lighter color. Contour is what we want to bring forward. So we want to chisel some parts of the face. And as you see, I'm doing my forehead, a little bit on my nose, and on my jawline. I do contour in a couple different sections, and you're going to see that in this video. I do a little bit on my lip. I just kind of do different areas that I want to bring attention to, right? You can use this really fun, fluffy contour concealer brush. We have that if you need to snag it. It's one of my favorites. I use it all the time. It is number 5, and love this one. You can also use the foundation brush, the painter's brush. You can also use that one too if you have one similar to that, and if you need that one, you can snag it. Totally up to you. I like that one for the nose. You can also use it for the forehead. I'm just showing you guys the versatility that you can use for your brushes. And then also I have like this random Morphe brush that I use for contour occasionally as well, and that is M173, I think. I don't know. If you need to know, just ask me. You can also use it at the top part if you want to, or on the nose. I have that nose ring, so it gets in the way sometimes, but absolutely my favorite way to contour is just kind of blending that out. You can also use a blender if you want to, but I like to just kind of stick with that contour. As you see here, I'm just kind of going over that purpleness area just to make sure it's not smearing. And this is when I'm going to go chisel that jawline. I'm just going to make sure that it kind of goes in there. You can, again, I'm showing you, you can use that brush number 5 if you want to. It blends in really well. These concealers are so hydrating, and you're going to see that at the very end. You're going to see how well it hydrates your skin, how glowy you're going to be. You're going to see how well it just blends to the skin. Now, we're gonna contour on the cheek. Now, you don't wanna go straight to the ear. Now, we wanna go, see where it's meeting that top arch? We wanna go up because that's what's gonna pull everything up. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of that contour and I'm gonna add as I go. So I'm just gonna attach it and then I'm gonna kind of just blend it around and attach it, and I'm gonna add as I go. Like if I wanna add more, great. If I don't, then it's easier to add than it is to take away. So I'm just kind of attaching it. Now, don't be scared, don't be alarmed. We're gonna be blending all this at the end, so it's not gonna look super choppy and sharp. So I'm just putting that on there just so I have kind of like a diagram of where I'm gonna go. Now here's that little blender I was talking to you about. You can take that. I like to just throw a little setting spray or water on there, get it damp, and you can also, oh gosh, I hate it when I do makeup and my nose itches. But anyway, as you can see here, you can just kind of pat it in if you want to. I love this tiny little blender. We also have that. I just love our blenders because they are super spongy. They're not hard. They absorb well. And so I just like to kind of go in and pat that in. So there's so many ways that you can apply these concealers. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight the skin, and this is my favorite part, absolutely my favorite part. So I do a little bit of the highlighting in kind of different parts. I'm going to go underneath that eyebrow. Again, this is why I love that doe's foot, because it just gets in there. I'm going to go right into now we're only doing half the face today just to show you as a demonstration. So I'll usually go all over that forehead, but I'm just doing the side, down the nose, the Cupid's bow, and then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to brighten just that side. Don't go any further, just right there for now. Just trust the process. And we're just gonna go down in between those two contour areas and our chin. Okay, so contouring is to take away, highlight, or contour is to bring things forward, highlighting is to bring things back. So again, I'm gonna use that number 5 brush. I'm just blending right now, I'm just patting stuff in. I really like to make sure I get this highlighter blended. And then I'm just going to go into that nose area, that Cupid's bow, and then I'm going to blend in with the blender. I'm just kind of like mixing it into that contour. Again, we're going to be blending this in the end, so it's not going to look super chiselly. It's going to be all blended in. And the reason why I'm only doing that side of that eye, you'll see here in a second, I'm doing the nose. I always like to go down the beginning of the nose. If you look here, doing this little area on your forehead is going to allow that to just kind of look a little bit lighter. It's just going to make some more brightness to the skin. And then we're going to go ahead and keep blending that out as you see it kind of blended out. And so we're just doing the side of that eye, right? So we don't want a lot of concealer. We don't want tons. So that's what's going to make that crinkly line, all that stuff. That niacinamide and caffeine in this concealer is going to just wake that eye up. And as you see here, I'm just blending out that that light concealer, which I'm using number 3. It's going to go in the eyelid, which is great for a primer before you use eyeshadow, but it's really going to help brighten underneath that eye. Okay, now we're going to get into that foundation color. I am using foundation color, I'm using concealer color number 8. Absolutely love this one. So as you see here, I'm just going into areas that I did not cover. I'm just kind of using that Cupid's bow. I'm using the areas that I really want to blend. You can put them in between the contour and the highlighting part. I just kind of dab it around, play with it, just kind of see where I want it to, go. Again, it's easier to add than it is to take away. So I'm just going to blend it out. These are my 2 favorite brushes. This is a brand new foundation brush you can see with the bamboo. And then the other one is another foundation concealer contour brush that we have. As you can see here, I'm just blending it out. That's all I'm doing. That's the purpose of this foundation color, or this foundation shade. Concealer match is just to blend out everything that you have applied to that skin. Love this. And usually it's great for all skin types. It is amazing. It's going to give you that glow. It's just going to help you blend it. And so as you can see, it just goes on so flawlessly. Okay, so I told you I brightened in 2 different sections. Now I'm going to go in with that doe's foot with that number 3 again that I used on the side of the eye. And I'm just going to start to lighten that area. I like to do that last just so I know what I'm working with. And I'm just going to use that really nice concealer brush that I used to put in for the purpleness. And I'm just going to pat that into the eye. Okay, now we've made it almost to the last section. We're gonna put some translucent powder on top of that. Translucent powder, its purpose is to set, maybe cover any oiliness areas. It's gonna kind of just keep that skin looking satiny during the day. Do not use tons. We're not baking. We're not doing anything like that. We're just setting the skin. So absolutely love translucent powder. It helps with any oily areas. Again, you don't want to put tons underneath your eyes because it's going to dry the eyes out and then it's going to look creasy, crinkly, and kind of gross during the day. I just thought I'd show you guys. I'm going to throw on a little bit of blushing blush. Absolutely love this blush color. I kind of go up first and then I go in and then I pat through. This blushing color is so pretty for fall. It's my favorite. And then the last thing, we're going to spray and we're going to set with our 10 years and younger spray. If you're not using our setting spray, it's water-based. It's going to keep that foundation on all day long. So we have our contour, we have our eye brightener, and then we have our under eye concealer and our foundation shade. 4 concealers for a whole entire look. I hope you enjoyed as much as me.